Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is going to be the 14th video on Next.js and today we will be learning about Post API. So in our previous video, we did sign up on the MongoDB cloud and we created a cluster that is a group of databases and we did configure the MongoDB connection URL with our Next.js app and we put that URL, the MongoDB connection URL, in a .env file, as we can see over here, and we also created a file to connect with the MongoDB. So over here, we have created an async function by the name connect, and every time we will be trying to communicate with the database, we will be using this function. Now let's go ahead and learn about the Post API. So first of all, let's just close this .env file and the connection file. Now, on the home page, I'm not going to do much on CSS. Instead, we'll focus morely on the database operations in these videos. So in the home page, and before that, let me just make a header component, a navigation. So let's say components and header.jsx export default function header and will return nav.navbar expand lg.navbar dark dot bg dark dot py2 dot border bottom, and we'll just call this header over here. bg should be light. ul.navbar nav.mx auto, and there will be li dot nav item and then link. Let's export the link. href is equals to this, says home, and there will be a class name nav link. Now for the Post API, okay, it says cannot read properties of undefined reading call header, and okay, it's fine. Home, we imported the header. Now what's the problem? It says link href class name nav link. It looks pretty much fine. Let's try to refresh it. Okay, here we go. And it should be navbar light. Okay. So we have home, and then for the Post API, we will be inserting some data in our database with a form. So let's suppose add users, and let's say okay, we will be using a different page for this, for adding the users. So let's create a page, add users. Inside app, we'll create a new file by the name page.jsx. Inside a folder, add user slash page.jsx. export default function, add user, return, and then let's say section py5 div container div dot row div dot col lg6 col md12 col sm12 col 12 dot mx auto and h4 dot text center, add new user. Add users, I'm sorry. It should be add users. Rename add users. Add new user. Okay. Now we'll just create a form. And since on the form we will be using on click, on change, and on submit functions, so events. So for using events, we will be making that form client component, and we don't want to make our main page a client component, so we will create a different component. Inside this components directory, we'll create a folder, we'll create a file by the name add user form.jsx. So export default function. So let's declare it a client. So use client and export default function add user form, and we'll just call this file, or we'll just call this form over here add user form. So form class name, let's say padding 4 bg light, and border around it, and I think that would be all. MT4 margin top 4. All right, now over here let's say div dot input group. We'll be using two input fields over here. So input text dot form control. Let's put placeholder first name, last name, and we'll make it required. So first name, last name, and let's say we'll create email div dot mt4 input type is equals to email, class will be form control, and placeholder will be enter email and make it required. And then we have got name, number, sorry, the first name, last name, email, and then we can also use phone. So number, enter phone number, and then we can use one more data. We can use city. We can use text and placeholder enter city, and let's say we'll also mention, we'll also record one more data. That will be the gender. Let's say select dot form select required option select gender male, value will be male, and then female, female. So select gender. Now we have got two options over here. Now we'll be needing one save button. Input type equals to submit, value equals to save user, and it will be, let's say, btn primary. We'll make it with 100. MT5. All right, now what we will do is, first of all, we'll declare some variables. Const fname set fname equals to use state. We'll be using use state. It will be empty. So we have fname, lname, email, and then we have phone, set phone, and then we have, after phone, we have first name, last name, then we have email, then we have phone number, then we have city, and then gender. Then we have city, set city, and then we have gender, set gender. And now we will be doing data mapping over here. For that, we'll write value is equals to fname, and on change it will be e, and then set fname e dot target dot value, and we'll do it with all other fields. Lname, set lname, and then we'll do it with email, value equals to email, and set email, and then phone, value equals to phone, set phone, and then city, fname city, and it will be set city, and then this will be gender, and then set gender, and we'll see if we are able to map the data. For that, we'll just write on submit, we'll create a function handle submit. So const handle submit is equals to, it will be an async function, and we'll just prevent the default function of the form. So e dot prevent default, and let's alert whether we are getting all the data or not. So fname, lname, email, phone, city, and gender. and we'll just set autocomplete is equals to off. All right, now let's check if it is working or not. Let's say Robert Downey, email would be robertdowney@gmail.com. Dummy phone number, city, let's say New York, then gender is male. Let's click it. Okay, so we are able to map the data with our form input fields. Now, before working further, let's go ahead and create the database user model schema. For that, inside the DB Connect, I think we have created the DB Connect inside app. No, not here. Let's just create a directory by the name utils. Sorry, should be a directory. New folder, utils. Utils already exist. We'll create a folder utils, and inside utils we'll put this DB Connect. And inside utils, we'll create another folder by the name schema. And inside schema, we'll create a file by the name user schema.js. Now we have already installed the Mongoose. Let's check. Yes, we have the Mongoose here. We have the Mongoose here. Now let's go ahead and create the schema. For that, const user schema is equals to Mongoose. All right. No, we need to import Mongoose from Mongoose. So import Mongoose from Mongoose. Mongoose dot schema, and we have f name that will be a string. We have l name that will be a string. Email, let's say it will be a string too. And then we have email, then phone, city, and gender. Phone, let's say it would be a string. Phone, city, string, and then gender, it will be a string. And let's say we'll record a create date as well. So let's say created at, and it will be, let's say, date. Now what we will do is, we will check whether this schema is already there or not. So we will use a condition over here that whenever we will be trying to access the database, we'll check if this table or if this table already exists in the database or not. And if not, then we will create one. So for that, we will write const user is equals to mongoose dot models dot users will check, and if it exists then it's fine. Otherwise it will create one, That will be mongoose dot model. Here it will be users, and the schema it will use is user schema. And since we are going to create a new schema, so it will be new mongoose dot schema. Now we will export this variable. So export default user. So we have created the user table schema, and now we'll just close this file, and we will create an API route. So first of all, let's let's just pass all of this data to the API route, and for that we will use a try catch function. Let's say if it catches an error, it says user or could not save user, try again later. And in try we'll use let response is equals to, we'll use a fetch function, and that will be a post. So we'll use API, and inside API let's say users, and we'll pass all of this data. We'll pass all of this data, and we'll get the response in JSON format. So response is equals to await response.json, response.json, and we'll put a condition if response.success. If it is success, then we will clear the form. If it is success, we will clear the form, and for that we'll set everything to empty, and we'll put an alert that user saved successfully, and we will redirect this page to the view page wherein all the data will be viewed. So we haven't created that page yet, but we will create that page in the next video when we will be working on the get API. But as of now, we are going to route this to that view page. So for that, we will declare a constant variable by the name router is equals to use router, and we'll import it from the next navigation. So whenever we try to import the use router feature, it gives us two options. One is next router and one is next navigation. Remember guys, we need to use the next navigation, and then after this we'll write router dot push view users. Now let's check. Let's say Robert Downey, and then Robert Downey at gmail.com, Dallas, gender is male. All right, so it says could not save user, try again later, because we have not created the API yet. So we'll just go to app, and inside the app directory, we'll create a new folder by the name API. And we can see inside API, we need to create users, a new folder, users, and inside users, we will write our API in a route.js file. Now, first of all, we'll call the connect function so that we can connect with our database. So we'll import it, import connect from this, and here we'll write export async function post. And also we'll do one thing, instead of giving the showing the message manually over here, let's make it dynamically. So if response.success is this, then we'll display the response.message, and else we will just display the alert with response.message if it is failed. Now we'll go back to the route.js file, and over here we'll put request, and here we'll capture all the data. So const fname, lname, email, phone, city, gender, like this, is equals to await request.json. Now we'll check if we are getting all of this data or not. So for that we'll write return next response, return next response dot json. Inside this, let's say success false, and message, let's say the message, instead of message, in the message we'll pass these variables, and let's check if we are getting the data or not. Okay, there is some error over here. Let's check what the error is. It says could not save user, try again later. Okay, no problem. Let's check what error we are getting. So it says 500 internal server error. It says server error because connect, because export async function post request, and then we have captured the data await request.json, return next response. Okay, everything is fine. And if we see the connect, so it is export async function connect, so it's a async function connect. So I think we need to put it inside the curly braces. I think this is the main issue we are facing. Let's check it again. Okay, now we are able to capture data in our API route. So we got it now. Okay, perfect. Now we are going to save this data in our database. For that, let's just comment out this as of now. And before that, let's use a try catch function for that. So if there is an error, then we will return next response success. Message will be, let's say, message will be internal server error, please try again. All right. And just a moment. Okay, please try again. And then inside try, first of all, we are going to check if there is already a data that exists with the same email ID or not, because we want our email IDs to be unique. We do not want any duplicate email IDs to be inserted into the database. So for that, we'll put a condition. So first of all, we'll declare a variable const check user is equals to await. Now we will first call the user schema from our schema file. So just hit the enter button. You can see we have got the suggestion here, util schema, user schema. So user, then dot will write find one, and we will find it by email. So we will check whether there is a data available by this email or not. So we'll put a condition. If check user exists, then we will return a response with the success false, and message will be this email already exists. Please use a different one. And if not, then we will go ahead and create a new user. And for that, we will write const new user is equals to new user, and we'll put f name, l name, email, phone, city, gender. Okay, we have got 1 2 3 4 5 6, 2 3 4 5 6. We have got all the data, and yes, we had one more data to be inserted. So if we check the user schema, you can see f name, l name, email, phone, city, gender, and created at. So we'll insert the current date wherein this entry is being happening. And for that, we'll write created at, and we'll declare a variable, let's say const um const reg date, or the registration date. So const reg date is equals to date dot now, and we'll just put it here. So we've created the new user schema, and then now we will save it in the database. And for that, we will write await, then we will save the new user. So await new user, await new user dot save. That's all we will be doing. And if it is successful, then we will return a response. So return next response. We'll just simply copy this from here. I will paste it here. So success will be true, and message will be new user saved in the database. Now let's go ahead and check whether our API route is working or not. So for that, we'll go to this form, and then we'll just hit the save user. Let's wait. It might take some time. I think there might be some issue. It says internal server error. Please try again. And let's go ahead and check the issue. Internal server error. Please try again. Okay. Let's check whether we have got anything in the database. No, we haven't got anything yet. So where could be the error? So here we are checking the data. We are checking our codes, and everything seems fine. Sometimes it happens that sometimes our NextJS application could not connect to the database. So let's just try to restart the server. Let's just terminate this session and clear everything. Now npx next dev. Let's check now. Okay, our server has started. Now let's just refresh everything. All right, let's go to add users. Right, Robert Downey, Robert Downey at gmail.com. City, let's say, since he's from Manhattan, and gender male. Save user. Okay, so new user saved in the database. Cool. And since we have not created this view users page yet, but let's not redirect it after the successful entry. So let's just, remove this thing. We'll do it later on. So we're not using use router at this point of time. And we'll just remove this. All right, now, okay, let's go to add users and let's see if we have got the data here in our database. Let's check, let's refresh it. So it's retrieving the list of databases. Okay, so we have got it, users and Robert Downey gmail.com. So we have got it. Now let's try to add few more data as well. Let's close this inspect element and let's say Natasha Natasha at gmail.com, and let's say city is Texas, female. Let's save the user. New user saved in the database. Let's check it. Let's refresh it. And all right, we have got another data. Okay, now try to add one more. Let's add Steve Rogers. Let's say he is from New Jersey, gender male, save user. All right. So here we have successfully created a post API wherein we are able to save our form data into our database. So that's all for today, guys. In the next video, we will learn about get API wherein we will try to fetch this data from the database and we will display it in our Next.js app. So thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.